Let me invite you, the student, the entrepreneur, the organization, the local, the foreigner, all of you, to a life design extravaganza of planes, places, and possibilities. This design starts to take shape at Heathrow Airport, March 17th, 2019. It's a grey, grisly London morning. I'm terrified, palm sweating, heart thumping, terrified. Not because I'm afraid of flying. Actually, I love the surprise of the little miniature meals, the excuse to have a glass of wine mid-morning whilst binge-watching TV. On any other day, that might be truly my perfect life. I can hear my heartbeat in my ears terrified, because my team of 3 and I are about to leave our London lives, our home, our community, our work, stepping towards a whole new chapter of change. I have with me 4 packed to the point of exploding, gigantic suitcases. You know the type where your underwear might fall out in front of the check-in desk. 2 scrapping kids and 1 vaguely panic-stricken husband. Thailand beckons. It all started with one of those throwaway conversations that you have on a Friday night, over some tasty tapas in this instance. Were we just letting life take us where it did because exploring it, well, that just might be too scary? The question that emerged was, how might we shake up our careers and lives another way and see what might happen? A little something stayed with us from that Friday night chat. How might we? What if? A little snippet of possibility. What process did we take from that throwaway chat, from tapas to new territories, as we navigated our stuff of change? Change is ever present in life. It's always with us. Sometimes we step towards it, or sometimes it finds its way to our door. You might be that student grappling with finding your first job, the entrepreneur about to launch your first business, a new parent dealing with life and family, or perhaps an organization that's stuck in the face of turbulent change. We were grappling with our chapter of change. How might we shape, craft, and mold this family life turnaround? Well, like all good designers, we started by collecting stories. Other people had walked this path. How did they do it? Then we got curious. What might living in the land of smiles actually be like? We'd seen the pictures, but what about the reality? So we decided on a mini prototype, a recce trip to Thailand. Fresh insights and mango smoothies by the litre helped us to put together a starter plan for how this might actually work. We returned home with a broad vision and some detail. It was all there on paper. We could see it. We could feel it. We could sense it. This was our dreamy story. But dreams and ideas are just that, unless you actually do something, bring them to life. So we signed a contract with ourselves and committed to a year of living the design that we had created. From Heathrow to Chiang Mai, we made it. And thank you, Chiang Mai, for welcoming us so graciously. The 4 suitcases have now morphed into a life full of Thai treasures and experiences, new opportunities, conversations, and communities. And thankfully, I have avoided my underwear ever being on public display. Our story, this story, is life design. It's thoughtful, it's considered, it has a process to help navigate change. It's a tool for life. The essence of what I do is to support, coach, and enable people to become designers and organizations, to become designers, to build their design skills as they craft their way forward in their future career in their organizations. But doing what I do begs the question, how are we taught to navigate the sometimes turbulent waters of change? Well, we aren't really. There is no guidebook to take us on that journey from childhood into adulthood. First jobs, first loves, perhaps becoming parents, then the move to becoming older. Many of us now experience the change curve in our careers as we move through several roles, contending as we go with the tsunami-like influence of new technologies. It can all sometimes feel like we're a pinball in a pinball machine, being bounced around in response to where we're being pinged. And where there's change, there's fear. It can be anything from utterly paralyzing to I need to get better deodorant type fear. And to that point about fear, let me just ask you for a moment to step back to a moment of change in your life. It might have been a change in job, navigating something new in your relationship, a move to a new city. Reconnect with the emotions that were present for you at that time. Could have been anything from tingling excitement, trepidation perhaps. But I'll bet the contents of my wallet, in the midst of all that, fear will have danced its perilous dance. So the question I suggest we work with is, how might I learn to roll with fear of change, letting it take me from paralysis to possibility? How might I is central to the designer's mindset. How might I create a new electric car, a portable vacuum cleaner, a revolutionary holiday idea? We all know the great design stories: iPhone, Dyson, Tesla. All designers follow a 5-step process: gathering stories and insights, ideating, prototyping, collaborating, and co-designing as they go, and constantly reflecting and refining. Okay, so I love iPhones, and I always fancied a Tesla. But what does this design idea mean for real-life, heartbeat, human me? Our human design story, with our own individual dreams, thoughts, desires, and emotions, is not merely a logistical process. But it's a journey of discovery, discovering the formative stories that shape our lives. Engaging with our stories really helps us to uncover those patterns, those hidden patterns, those assumptions, and reframing those limiting beliefs enables us to move forward in a path that is truly aligned to who we really are, not to who society says we should be, nor indeed to what the shiny Facebook fabulous world of social media suggests we should aspire to be. Connecting with deeper insights from our own stories, our formative stories, the career paths and the education choices we have made, really understanding who we are, an exploration of the lumpy and bumpy bits of our lives, enables us then to move forward with confidence into curiosity, reframing, prototyping, experimenting, collaborating, trying stuff, building new career and life designs, and as we go, finding our own journey and walking in our own shoes. Let me share with you, if I may, some stories from some of the wonderful and inspiring people that I've worked with. Meet Victoria. She's bright, she's sparky, she's fun. When we first started to work together, she was bursting at the brim with her ideas, but pumping at the heart with that sense of feeling utterly lost and not knowing how to bring her plant-based business idea to life. So we started by bringing Victoria back to Victoria, anchoring her in her own story. She had already worked through many of life's big challenges. She had form. Grounded in her own story, she was able to move forward with confidence and a steady sense of her own potential. She then got curious, she started gathering stories of other sustainability entrepreneurs and also building her picture of where the profitable market opportunities existed. She reframed, creating a more market-appropriate plan. She continued to collaborate and co-design and moved forward by experimenting and prototyping. And now she delivers a range of plant-based business events across her hometown Singapore in collaboration with market gardens all across the city. And in her words, my journey took me from merely wishing to be something to being what I had aspired to be. I made the transition from I wish to I am. Or meet the senior team from an international NGO. They took their career design journey to develop their individual career plans. We kicked off the process by stepping back into their formative stories, understanding the career paths and life choices they had made, really delving deeper into some of the challenges that they had already worked through and thrived in. From there, we reframed some of those hindering beliefs that sometimes show up at the table. We then stepped forward with curiosity, really understanding what was happening in their current chapter, their current ambitions, their current values, their current satisfiers. With that really solid foundation in place, we then revved up the designer's mindset engine, and each team member moved forward and created a 3-year career design, molding and shaping and crafting that design into a quarter-by-quarter plan of actions, not lofty ideas. At every point in the process, we reflected by creating their storyboards and asking, what does the story tell me now? At every stage in the process, we encouraged the use of mini prototypes, mini experiments linked to their design. Sometimes that was something as simple as using different language in a meeting or engaging more proactively with other NGOs in the region. They worked individually and they also collaborated and co-designed. They are now held by their story, have a deeper sense of who and where they are now, and have created their career designs within their teams, and are able to move forward with more clarity and action. And in the beautiful words of one of the participants, I now have tools and a process. I found it useful, practical, and fantastic. Or meet Paula, whose design challenge was, how might I step back to my professional career after a 10-year parenting pause? Or Sean, how might I step away from my current career and carve out a whole new path? Paula, Victoria, the international NGO, have all written new chapters and in the process changed the arc of their storyline. And let me ask you for a moment to step with me from arcs to arches. In this case, through the hallowed arches of my West of Ireland convent school, circa 1986. I'd like to invite you to the office of Sister John Bosco. She was our career guidance teacher, a nun in her mid-50s, with a fistful of leaflets and a pocket full of ideas for us saintly girls. Secretary, nurse, teacher, air hostess if you were tall. In essence, there were 4 choices, 3 if you weren't the right height. The narrative was already written. That was the extent of imagination as we sallied forth from our Hail Marys to our Hallelujahs. On that dull grey day in that small grey office, the question I was really waiting for was how might I step forward into life and career and alter the story that was right for me? Sometimes we have a sense that the arc of our storyline is already written. That is only true if we allow it to be so. So if you are that student, the entrepreneur, the parent, the stock organization, the local, the foreigner, wherever you may be in life's timeline, my challenge to you is, how might you step forward to shape, craft, and author the next chapter of your uniquely you life? You might step back into your story, celebrate and own who you really are. You might step forward with curiosity, explore new career paths and life options, and see where that curiosity takes you. Reframe challenges that you will encounter on the way. Build new tribes, create new collaborations. You might create experiments to help you sneak up on your future, perhaps a rewritten story. And I invite you to think about what might happen then. Thank you.